So this week I'm going to review Antoine Fuqua's newest movie, which is called Brooklyn's Finest. It just came out this past Friday on the 5th, if that was Friday. I don't know. Yeah, that was Friday. So it stars Ethan Hawke, Richard Gere, Don Cheadle, and Wesley Snipes. It's three different stories, but they kind of cross paths throughout the movie. They don't really interact with one another, but it all follows Ethan Hawke. He's a police officer. Don Cheadle is an undercover police officer. And Richard Gere is a police officer 1 week away from retirement. So Ethan Hawke's character, Sal, is a police officer who's getting pretty desperate for money because his family's growing and he needs to be buying a new house. He's got 3 kids, 2 more on the way, and he really needs this extra money to be feeding his children. So he takes the money that's left over on tables during drug raids. He pockets it when no one's looking, and so he's getting into this weird mindset. He's going crazy, like he's just obsessing over the money because he needs it that badly for his family, but he's hiding it really well from his family. He's acting completely normal with them. So that's becoming a huge problem for him. Richard Gere's character, Eddie, is 1 week away from retirement, like I previously stated, and because he's a senior officer, he is set to oversee rookies in rough neighborhoods. They're trying out something new in the police force, and so he's got to keep an eye on rookies. And really, his story is pretty boring at first. It's pretty slow, but near the end of the movie it gets very exciting and it's pretty fun to watch. Don Cheadle plays Tango, an officer who's been undercover for 2 years, and he's befriending all these people that he is working with in the drug area, people that aren't police officers, they're criminals, and he's befriended Wesley Snipes, and they're really close friends. And when Don Cheadle is assigned to a case where he needs to set Wesley Snipes' character up because Wesley Snipes' character just got out of jail, and Don Cheadle is set to, in this case, to put him back in jail, but he's finding that tough to do because he's become very close friends with him, and so he needs to make the decision on whose side to take, police or his drug friends that he's become friends with while undercover. So about the first 20 minutes of this movie were a little bit slow and boring, but that's when they kind of introduced all the characters like most movies do in the beginning of the movie, and that's where we learned about the characters. So although it's a bit boring, it's pretty imperative to the rest of the movie so you understand who each of the characters are as we follow these 3 different police officers in their own separate story. And what I really like about this movie is that instead of just cutting every time to go to the next scene where it focuses on, say it's at Ethan Hawke's, it's one of Ethan Hawke's scene, it doesn't just cut and go to Don Cheadle's scene. Sometimes Ethan Hawke will, for example, be walking down the street, and it'll be following him on his story, and then he'll walk past Don Cheadle, and instead of the camera following Ethan Hawke, it'll continue to follow Don Cheadle as he goes on in his story. So instead of just cutting it, really it keeps going, and it just changes directions on who it's following. So I really like that because although they don't ever really interact with one another, aside from when Don Cheadle and Richard Gere bump into one another outside of a store when they change scenes, whatever, that's really the only interaction. Aside from that, all 3 of the stories are going on at the exact same time. They're pretty close to each other, so because they're all going on in the same neighborhood, just a couple blocks apart. So although this movie runs over 2 hours long, the first bit can drag a little bit, but as the story progresses, of course, it gets more exciting. It's a more exciting movie to watch, so you really aren't focusing on the fact that it runs an hour 33. 133 minutes, not an hour 33. It's 2 hours and 13 minutes, credits of course. But it's a very, not fun movie, I guess. It's a fun movie to watch, but it's not, there's no comedy in it. I think this movie could have used maybe a little bit of comic relief, but honestly, it didn't really, because not all movies need that. And I think Antoine Fuqua did a good job in this movie. All the actors did a very good job. Wesley Snipes, I don't know. He was a supporting actor, but he probably could have done a better job in acting. Don Cheadle did a really good job. Ethan Hawke, I'm always a big fan of him. He had Daybreakers that came out a month ago, 2 months ago, whenever that was. He's been a good actor. He's been around for a while, even though he's still only 30-some, I think. And Richard Gere, like I said, his story was a little bit boring, but it picked up and it got much better. So that was that. And this movie, not for younger kids, because there's nudity, a lot of coarse language. I mean, a lot of it. So really not for kids. So parents, if you're thinking about taking your kids to a movie this weekend, don't take them to see Brooklyn's Finest, because that would not be something that they should be seeing. They rate these movies for a reason. I think this one's rated 18A or rated R or whatever it is. if you're under that age, I mean, if you're around 16, 17, I know why I watched those movies when I was 15, 16, 17. But if you're younger than that, I don't think that you should watch this movie because it is. There's a lot, and there's a lot of, especially in Ethan Hawke's scenes, there's a lot of gore. Yeah, because he shoots a lot of people. I'll tell you that right now. Ethan Hawke shoots a lot of people. He just walks into a room, boom, 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 because he's going for money, right? So he kills a lot of people. And there's a lot of blood because when someone gets shot, it all comes out with their mouth. And so really this movie is pretty gory, a lot of coarse language, and very violent, and a lot of nudity too. So not for younger kids. Overall, I really like this movie. I would definitely recommend it. Anyways, that's it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed my review of Brooklyn's Finest. Definitely go check it out for sure. And Don Cheadle, also, you should check out Hotel Rwanda. He did an extremely good job acting in that movie. It's a very good movie. So if you've never seen Hotel Rwanda, definitely check that out. I actually, I think I was going to review that a couple months ago, but I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't even remember. Definitely check that one out as well. Brooklyn's Finest in theaters now. Check it out.